Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Tekken Iceberg. This video is part 2 of an ongoing series. If you want to watch the previous Iceberg, a video link will be provided in the description below. So if you want to catch up on the series, feel free to do so. If newcomers are watching this and don't know what an iceberg is, I'll explain it briefly. Across the entire iceberg image are several entries related to a specific topic. Entries near the surface of the iceberg are fairly well-known facts, while the deeper you go into the iceberg, the more strange and niche the iceberg entries become. With that explanation out of the way, let's get on with the video. King is a tiger mask reference. King is one of the most popular Tekken characters of all time, as he is one of the few side characters in Tekken that can even rival main characters like the Mishimas, being easily recognized even by casuals who didn't put much time into Tekken. But where did he come from? One likely inspiration for King could have come from a wrestler named Tiger Mask, a wrestler who gained popularity in the early 80s. The true origin of Tiger Mask, however, actually comes from a wrestling manga of the same name published in 1968. Eventually, a wrestler named Satoru Sayama would bring the character to life and start wrestling under the Tiger Mask persona. And ever since then, several other people have taken on the Tiger Mask persona in Japanese wrestling, which in a poetic way resembles the story of King in Tekken, as when the first King dies during the events of Tekken 3, an orphan that was raised in his orphanage decides to follow in King's footsteps, and with the help of Armor King as a mentor, the second King would become even stronger than the first. Even if some comparisons are purely coincidental, it is shocking how much the story of King and Tiger Mask resemble each other. Characters sharing voices in Tekken 1. Tekken 1 is a very basic game. The first Tekken game is basically a tech demo. Whether it was due to technical limitations or developers simply learning new technology, some shortcuts were taken during development. One of those shortcuts were the voices of all the characters. Notably, Kazuya and Lee share the exact same voice lines as they are voiced by Joji Nakata. Famously, Harada himself voiced Law in Tekken and many early Tekken games as well, but apparently he also voiced Kunimitsu in Tekken 1. Ganryu and Heihachi also share the same voice lines, being voiced by the late Daisuke Gori. In later games, characters will each have dedicated voice actors, even going as far as to mostly stick to the original language of their country, unless your name is Elisa or Lars because you're explicit anime characters. Having each character speak the original language is very common in games, much less fighting games, with most games primarily being voiced in one language or having to dub an entire game in another language. But in the early days of Tekken, they had no problem with reusing voice assets. Unlocking Devil in Tekken 1. While the Devil Gene would become a major plot in Tekken later on, in Tekken 1, it wasn't a prominent story detail. That doesn't mean it wasn't there though, as there is a devil form of Kazuya you can play as in Tekken 1. To unlock Devil Kazuya, what you had to do was beat all stages of the Galaga minigame during the loading screens without missing a single enemy. Then you have to select Kazuya with the start button, and then you can play as Devil Kazuya. While in official renders there are demon wings, in gameplay they don't show up at all. It's very clear that the devil design was far from finalized, since Devil Kazuya shares a lot of visual resemblance with Star Platinum from Part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The unlock doesn't give Kazuya any new moves or attributes, as it's basically just a skin for Kazuya. The official devil reveal wouldn't happen until Tekken 2, but this wouldn't be the first time important reveals are hinted at in previous games. Leo's gender. While Tekken isn't quite known for inclusive representation, Leo is an exception, as Leo's gender is ambiguous. In Tekken's character customization systems, different outfits are made for male and female characters. During Tekken 6 and Tag 2, Leo had access to female outfits like bikinis and swimsuits, while in Tekken 7 and 8, Leo has male customization options. With the costume packs Bandai Namco puts into Tekken 8, Leo was actually excluded from a costume pack, mainly the wrestler costume pack, as it shows a bare chest on male characters, and since they want to keep Leo's gender a secret, Leo was excluded from the costume pack. which only adds more mystery to Leo's true gender. Tag combos. Tag combos, or great combos as they're called in game, are unique animations for specific teams in the tag fighting games. You can recognize a great combo if a blue spark appeared and the announcer yells "great" during the combo. While most of them are flashy, they do have a use, as tag combos can delete recoverable health, offering some utility instead of always opting for a combo. They appear in both tag games, and they're a neat little addition. Lucky Chloe Hate. For those who never played Tekken 7, you may have never heard of Lucky Chloe. Lucky Chloe is essentially a Japanese idol girl, and it's kinda easy to tell who she was designed for, as she has bright pink outfit, long blonde, pigtail hair, and a cat-based costume. Chloe uses song and dance to fight her opponents. She even has a few rhythm-based input mechanics. When she was first revealed for Tekken 7, there was a major outcry. People were wondering what happened to Eddie Gordo. Since Eddie is such a popular character, some people were beginning to think that Lucky Chloe replaced Eddie Gordo, which rubbed people the wrong way, resulting in a general controversy around Lucky Chloe. Eventually though, Eddie Gordo was officially added in Tekken 7, although even with the return of him, his scenario ending has him being humiliated by Lucky Chloe in both endings. Whether or not Eddie wins or loses, he still suffers embarrassment from Chloe. I guess in the end, Bandai Namco always wins. Devil Ganryu. As part of Tekken 6's grand story mode, they decided to explain where the Devil Gene came from. The true origin of the Devil Gene originated from an Egyptian demonic god king named Azazel. And Azazel was used not only for the final boss of the scenario campaign, the story mode of Tekken 6, but for arcade runs as well. Various characters have cutscenes interacting with Azazel after he's defeated. So where does Ganryu, the sumo wrestler, fit into the story of defeating ancient demon gods? Well, after defeating everyone in the Iron Fist tournament and defeating Azazel, Ganryu tries to use the devil powers that Azazel grants him, and his first objective is to fly with his devil wings. But he's too fat and is able to fly off the ground. Nintendo costumes in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Tag 2 had a very extensive character customization system. In the Wii U version, players had access to Nintendo-themed costumes, where players could dress up as iconic Nintendo characters. You could dress up as Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, and Sheik from the Legend of Zelda series. You had Mario characters like Toad, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Bowser, and a few miscellaneous characters like Captain Falcon from F-Zero, Fox McCloud from Star Fox, and Samus Aran from Metroid. Essentially, if you have the Wii U version of the game, you can turn the game into Smash Brothers with all of these costumes. A fun little addition for a lesser played version of the game. Turning Tetsujin gold. In the older Tekken games, they had a character named Mokujin. Now Mokujin names translates to Woodman. So who is Mokujin exactly? Essentially, he's a living wooden dummy who can copy anyone's fighting style, and since Tag 1 is based off characters teaming up, Mokujin needed a partner. So they created Tetsujin, which translates to Metal Man. He functions exactly the same as Mokujin, he's just made out of metal. However, there's also a way to change the metal of Tetsujin from a gray steel to pure gold. If you win 10 matches in a row with Tetsujin, on the 11th match, he will turn into Gold Tetsujin. Now this is no easy feat to win this much with Tetsujin, as his moveset is constantly changing from character to character, and it changes every time you tag out into your other character. One moment you could be using Jin's moveset, next you could be using Julia's moveset. meaning you need quite extensive knowledge on everyone's move list. And Tag 1 had the largest roster at the time, making it no easy feat, meaning earning gold Tetsujin was a real achievement. Tekken Mobile. As Tekken is a fairly large IP, many people wanted to capitalize on the brand in different ways. So in 2017, Bandai Namco had a team in Vancouver, Canada, create a Tekken game for mobile devices. They ended up creating Tekken Mobile. A creative name, I know. The app was in service for about 2 years until the game servers were officially sent offline in 2019. Tekken Mobile came with many of the standards of mobile games. Shallow but easy gameplay loops, with the combat in the game being referred to as Waza combos for some reason. Apparently the name for Waza means technique in Japanese, but they kept the name Waza even in English translations for some reason, which is just a weird decision. Rarity systems with fighters of different values that come from loot crates of random chance. Stamina system built into each fighter's health as it slowly depletes in every fight, but regenerates slowly over time. Upgrade trees that only offer small buffs. Plenty of typical features you would see in any modern mobile game. Despite being only a mobile game, the game does have a story mode and a few original characters. The mobile game came with 2 original playable characters. One known as Rodeo, or Bone Montana, and Ruby. Ruby seems to be a generic stand-in for the player, while Rodeo is an actual original character made by the mobile team. They also made an original villain for the game, a character named Revenant who steals every able-bodied fighter from their powers. Turns out it is revealed at the end of the game that he was a servant of Ogre and summons him when he is defeated. The mobile game seems to be largely forgotten nowadays, so if you ever actually played the game when it was still up and running, feel free to tell me in the comments below. Excellent. While it's common for characters to have iconic catchphrases, Tekken isn't specifically known for such catchphrases, particularly because most Tekken games have characters speak in their true language, making it difficult to cement iconic phrases when everyone sounds different. However, Lee Chaolan is an exception to this rule. While Lee was a member of the Mishima family, one thing that made him stand out was his more flamboyant nature. Lee can also speak bits of English, or English as some people would call it. Tekken 8 has actually expanded the amount of English he speaks with him saying words like good, great, and marvelous. His most well-known catchphrase is excellent. Lee usually says the catchphrase whenever he's in a cutscene, especially after an impressive display of wealth, skill, or just showing off how suave he truly is.
Excellent. Excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent. 感動の再会。まさに excellent. Marvelous.
Choosing win poses. When you finally win a game in Tekken, the character you chose can do a variety of win poses. Many games in Tekken actually let you choose a win pose when you win. Since Tekken 3, you can choose which pose you want depending on which button you hold when a round ends. This feature has carried all the way into Tekken 8. However, there are more exclusive win poses in Tekken 8. A good example is Clive's win screen after a rage art, as it will always show the same win pose if Clive wins off of a rage art. Aside from characters who have set win poses, the system works the same way as before. So the next time you get a win in Tekken, try it out. See what pose you get. Chicken. Whenever you put your opponent on defense in Tekken, they have multiple options. One of those options is to parry one of your attacks. But what if you could attack without worrying about parries? In the older games, you could chicken a parry. How do you chicken exactly? Well, you simply input either forward 1+3 or forward 2+4, depending on which button you press. For right kicks and punches, you press forward 1 plus 3. For left kicks and punches, you press forward 2 plus 4. This lets you continue your offense without having to worry about parries. However, it didn't work on every parry, as there are also sabakis, and the reason they don't work is because they're attacks with built-in parry effects, along with several other exceptions like Jin and Leroy's parry. This feature was eventually removed at Tekken 8 to make parries more viable. Instead, the proper way to deal with parries now is to grab them out of it, which in my opinion is better designed counterplay rather than having an option select that practically invalidates one of your defensive tools. Tekken and SoulCalibur are in the same universe. There is actually some credence to this theory. Not only the games both published by Bandai Namco, they also have a direct link through one character specifically, Yoshimitsu, as Yoshimitsu isn't completely by himself, as he is one of the members of the Manji clan which exists in both Tekken and SoulCalibur, and it's possible timeline-wise since SoulCalibur takes place during the medieval era while Tekken takes place in the near future. So to put them in the same universe is not the most ridiculous idea in the world, as they have Yoshimitsu as the connecting link to both games. Golden Ogre. I'm going to be a little honest in this one. I'm not 100% sure I'm right about this entry. As in Tekken 3, the main antagonist was known as Ogre, a god of fighting that originated in Mexico. He served as the final boss in the arcade mode. Once you run on Ogre, he has a second form, True Ogre, an extremely monster form that looks like a chimera of different animals, horns and wings that look like a devil, an arm that's made entirely out of snakes, a thick mane which can make his head look like a lion, talons for feet, and a giant tail. Now what is this Golden True Ogre? My theory as to what Golden True Ogre is seems to reference a palette swap for True Ogre in Tag 1, as the palette swap gives True Ogre a bright yellow color, where it almost looks like he's made out of gold. I could be wrong about this, so if someone does know what this is referring to, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Bruce's Chickens. Bruce Irving is a legacy character who has some interesting moral dilemmas. While Bruce is a strong Muay Thai fighter with a strong sense of justice to protect those weaker than him, he is devotedly loyal to Kazuya, who is proven time and time again to commit horrible atrocities whenever he has power. To reflect his more kind nature, Bruce saves a chick from a car in his Tag 2 ending. The chick ended up being a customization item in Tag 2 that Bruce could wear, which reflected his true nature despite the people he regularly surrounds himself with. K.O.ing Dr. Bosconovich in Tekken Bowl. In the Tekken Bowl mode for Tag 1, you can see multiple people forming a crowd as you play, and most of them are generic NPCs that cheer you on. There is one recognizable person in the crowd, however. You can see Dr. Bosconovich in the crowd. He's actually pretty close to the bowling pins. You can aim at the bowling ball and actually hit him. Then a KO will be displayed on the screen indicating you knocked him out. And it even gives you an achievement for hitting him. A fun little Easter egg in a side mode. Tekken Blood Vengeance. Due to copyright, this section had to be reworked because YouTube would copyright claim any clips I had related to the movie. So instead I'm going to have the 3DS port in the background, as the movie was included in the 3DS port, fun fact. Tekken Blood Vengeance was a 3D CGI movie released in July of 2011. For a brief review, I would give the movie 6 out of 10. There's not much of a plot to follow throughout the movie. Most of the fight scenes are okay, except for the Mishima Throwdown, which is actually a good fight scene. For the English dub, everybody sounds pretty good except for Kazuya and Jin, because Jin sounds older than Kazuya for some reason. And the one plot point they were building up throughout the whole movie gets immediately removed once the final confrontation happens, as the original character they made for the movie, Shin, who is supposed to be immortal, gets immediately killed by Heihachi the moment he tries to take revenge against him. There's a fight scene where Jin and Kazuya turn into their devil forms, but the whole scene is just Kazuya beating Jin until he comes to his senses. And as a last minute plot twist, Heihachi, who is assumed dead because he fell off a cliff during a fight scene a couple scenes back, He comes back controlling a wooden kaiju formed out of a bunch of Mokujins for a final fight scene, which comes out of completely nowhere, by the way, and is never properly explained. Eventually, Jin, Xiaoyu, and Elisa win because of friendship or something. Jin then says to Xiaoyu that eventually she'll have to defeat him, implying that they were going to make a sequel or something. And, well, if any of you are curious to actually watch the movie, it's actually completely free on YouTube, so I'll put the link in the description below. Secret moves. Tekken is infamous for its extremely large movesets for each character, as each character has an average of 70 moves. Then you have characters like Lei Wulong with the largest move list in Tekken's history, as he has almost over 200 different moves, making it a daunting task for people to learn how to even play a character. Despite this absurd amount of moves, the devs thought it would be a fun idea to add secret moves not mentioned in the move list. Some were simple, such as a slightly enhanced version of a move like Paul's Blue Spark Demo Man, which simply enhances the damage. And other secret moves being more important, like Hornag's Just Frame Skyrocket, which gives him a safe launching mid to mix people up with. You have other secret moves, like Armor King's Secret Fire Breathing attack or Secret Dark Upper. There's usually some kind of prerequisite for characters to use these moves. For example, with Armor King, you have to input the Fire Breath, or original Dark Upper input, during a key charge animation. Others require specific characters, like Yoshimitsu copying Brian's taunt, as both characters need to be present. Recent games have made improvements to show players each move a character has, even including small descriptions like alternate acceptable inputs, different cancels, and enhanced versions with different inputs. A great feature that allows people to learn how to do more advanced moves without having to look up a guide online. Thank you everyone who watched all the way to the end of the video. The videos are likely to get longer from here on out, so when episode 3 releases, it's likely going to be a video just as long or even longer than this one. After I finish episode 3, I plan to make videos more similar to my more original content, so stay tuned if you're interested. And remember to like and subscribe, and I hope everyone who watches have a great day.